from Boingo textbook only, so no need to worry. Compressibility factor 0.000129, area 640, valve bore radius, let us take 0.38 feet, and skin factor 0. Yeah. So here you can see that after giving the inputs, we will get an output of our flow rate versus PWF pressure, and also data frame of pressures versus flow rates. This negative value is coming because I have set in the code, I have set the bubble point pressure and reservoir pressure as 5651 here. If I remove it in from the code and let us set 5600, then again it is asking for. Yeah, now you can see that the negative value has been fixed and also the plot has been joined to the left. So now we will see the code that what is happening in the code, that it is giving us the output of the data frame of pressures versus flow rate by Vogel formula, and also this graph. Okay. So in the code, you can see that first of all, the first section consists of the input parameters. Here we have I have set the variables that will take input from the user, like for the porosity value, that will be stored in porosity, permeability in K, phase on thickness in H, and reservoir pressure in P, bubble point pressure PB, and all like that thing. Here we have taken area in acres. So that area should be converted into external radius of our reservoir by multiplying, by doing the multiplication. You guys know that very well. 43560 into area divided by 3.14. So this will give us the external radius of the reservoir. And again, RW and S are taken as input. After that, we have calculated the value of productivity index. That should be calculated by Q by delta P, or by using these parameters like permeability, phase on thickness, BO, viscosity, and all those things. As here, minus 0.75 will come because IPR is done in the pseudo steady state. After that, I have printed the value of productive index. As you can see here, the value of productivity index has been printed after calculation of it. After that, we are following just the procedure that how Vogel calculation are done. You guys must have done these calculations while solving the exercise in your notebook, in your copy. You can also do that in Python, and that will also help in making a mini project like this. Okay, so in the next step, we have calculated the value of absolute open flow, or you can say maximum flow rate. That for the Vogel correlation is calculated by multiplying the productivity index with the initial pressure and dividing it by 1.8. So also we have got a print of the value of Qmax also, absolute open flow. After that, here comes the game that we have learned from last days. Here I have made a arrays for pressure that should be used for making the data frame. As we discussed yesterday, that there are two methods to make a array by using direct functions of NumPy. I have used one of them, that is named as arrange. It will arrange my pressures from 0 to 5500 with a gap of 500 each. Okay, and also at last I have appended the last value 5600 that I have entered the reservoir pressure in this whole array. Yeah, after that I have reversed this pressure array, because as you can see we are getting values in a decreasing order. So that's why I have used this property of list for reversing the pressure array. Now after that, we have a array of pressure ready. Now we need to calculate flow rates as at each of those pressure points using Vogel correlation. So for that, as I mentioned on the very first day, that empty lists are used for occupying them later with certain values that can be calculated in the next line of codes. So here I have used that application of empty list. I have declared a empty list whose name I have written flow rate, variable name flow rate, that is empty list. And after that, in PWF array, I have used the for loop. For I in PWF means the four values in PWF for the components present in PWF. Let's say that I Q flow rate will be equal to Qmax, and this is the Vogel correlation that I have applied. Just in place of PWF, I have written I, because I will change each time this loop runs on the PWF list iteration. After that, Q will be calculated for each I in the PWF, and that Q is now stored in this empty list. For doing that, we have done flow rate dot append Q, and this Q has been appended in this flow rate list. So now we are ready with our pressure array and flow rate array. Here we have converted this final list, that final flow rate list that contains the flow rate values for corresponding PWFs into a array, numpy array. In this line, we have converted that into a numpy array. Now we will make a data frame, pandas data frame from these flow rate array and the PWF array. So in the next step, we have declared empty data frame. You can see here df equal to pd dot data frame, and we have added two columns of pressure and flow rates. As we discussed yesterday, that you can add new columns in the data frames by just writing the name of data frame, like here it is df, and after that using square brackets and name the column you want to name it. Like here we have named pressures for PWF array and flow rate Vogel for flow rates. So in this way, we have added two columns of flow rate and pressures. After that comes the plotting part. Plotting part, first of all, I have set the figure size that I want. Like here, I have got a 9 cross 6 canvas, 9 horizontally and 6 vertically. After that, using plt.plot. So this is the main line that will plot our plots. Basically, plt.plot, the value you want to give at x-axis. Here I want to give flow rates, so I use the flow rates array here, and on the y-axis I use the PWF array here. And C parameter you use to change the color of the line. Like here I have set C equal to red, so your line will be in red color. These are some custom Matplotlib customizing techniques that you can learn from referring the manuals of Matplotlib available online. And after that, the other parameter, line width. Line width will be our width of line. Here I have set it to 3. With increasing width, you will get a thick line. And after that, I have named the x-axis and y-axis by flow rates and PWF, and made the grid true, so I can get these grids in my plot, and given the title plt.title Vogel's IPR for saturated reservoir. And that's it, guys. After this, we have printed the data frame that we have made above. So you will get the output of Vogel's calculations of flow rates for given pressures, and also the Vogel's graph for that by just this 20 line of codes. Okay. Any question in this Vogel's IPR in any step? Hello. Hello.
Jayesh, actually, for example, if in future our reservoir pressure is changing, so we need to change that every time in our code as
No, no,
well.
no, 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 no. For like, yeah, it is a good question. Like for
Yes,
example, in our reservoir pressures are changing, so you must have read in the petroleum textbooks that
yes,
there are formulas available or the process available for predicting the future IPRs, right?
yes,
This is
yes,
for a
yes.
fixed. This is IPR for a fixed value for reservoir pressure. But with time, as the reservoir pressure will change, the IPR curve will also change. So you can follow those process as I must I must advise you to follow those processes as mentioned in Boeing Go chapter 3. There is a great process for predicting the future IPRs. Follow those steps and try to imply them in Python. And you can make a plot that will be dynamic in nature by just changing the values of reservoir pressure. I will tell you how to make a interactive plotting just in next step. So you can use
Okay.
the knowledge of Pythons and that interactive plotting for predicting future IPRs. I have done this thing earlier, but I haven't included that in this notebook. But you can do that also. Maybe this will be a good project for you for starting learning in Python. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So okay. Anyone else? Okay, then now we will move to our next part of discussion today. It is interactive plotting. Believe me, guys, this interactive plotting technique, once you get mastered in this, this will help you a lot in solving many petroleum engineering problems using Python. So yeah. So for interactive plotting, the very first step is we have to give our machine the idea that what type of canvas we want to use. That's why I have used these two lines of code in the first cell only. That plt.style.use default and plt.figure and figure size. I have mentioned the size of my canvas here. After that, you need to use functions. Like here, I'm plotting the effect of change in permeability, viscosity, and flow rates on the pressure profile in the wellbore. So I have created a function here by name of flow profile, and given the input parameters as k, mu, and q. Mu is viscosity, q is flow rate, k is permeability. After defining this function, I have given the value of RE, external radius of a reservoir, as 3000 feet, RW 0.5, and R I have made this NumPy array of radius, as I want to show the variation of pressure in the reservoir at different positions from wellbore. So I have made a NumPy array of radiuses starting from RW or wellbore to RE, to the last external radius, last point of our reservoir, and made 500 points between them by using np.linspace. After that, I have given the value of my external pressure as 4000 psi, value of B1 formation volume factor, H the formation thickness 30 feet, and after that, I am calculating my pressure at each point. As you know, this is a general Darcy law. Just used the Darcy law by and calculating pressure at each varying R. As you can see, R is our NumPy array ranging from RW to RE. So this R will be variable K, mu, and Q. We will vary these and see the effect on the pressure. So just written the calculation code here that P, our pressure at any point R, will be equal to PE minus 141.2 Q mu B divided by ln RE by RWKH. Okay. After this, this is Y mean. I added a line to show the minimum pressure. You will see that in later in the plot why this has been plotted. And after that, I have mentioned this whole thing is working in this flow profile function only. After that, we have mentioned that we will plot a graph. We will plot a plot between R and P. R over this NumPy array of ranging from RW to RE, and P pressure that will be calculated at each point in our reservoir using Darcy law with a line width of 4 and plt.axh line. This is used for plotting a horizontal line in any plot. You will see that later. This is done for this Y min only. I will explain to you in a minute after you see the graph. After that, I have set it the Y limits so that my Y axis will not vary to 0 to 5000 psi. After that, these things grid on, and this flow profile function will return us radius and pressure, as these R and P are used for plotting our interactive plot. These are the axes of our interactive plot. So this our function need to return us this value. After you define this function, you have to use this interactive technique that I have imported here. You can see from IPy widgets import interact or interactive. Interact and interactive. This is IPy widgets is just a library, just like NumPy and Matplotlib. This library has a number of widgets that you can use to make your plots interactive. So I have used this interactive that is imported from IPy widgets here. So yeah, I have used interactive and given the input of my function that I have defined, that on which function do I want to make my plot interactive. After that, the range of the values of permeability, viscosity, and flow rate, the range of the values that I have given in my input of the function, right? And I have stored that in a name, say W. Okay. After that, I will run this cell display W, and this will make our this interactive plot. So now here you can see this horizontal line. This is made by that plt.axh line and giving the value of y, where we want to plot that horizontal line that I have printed as y minimum. So y minimum horizontal line will be there at the minimum pressure, or you can say the pressure at the wellbore. So now as you move this slider, you can see the effect of change of permeability as I'm moving the slider of permeability on the pressure profiles. As you can see that you have read that you should have knowledge of this petroleum engineering concept, that as the permeability across the reservoir decreases, the pressure difference will also be high to move the oil from inside the reservoir to the wellbore radius. And as we increase the permeability, you can see that pressure is rising up at the wellbore. You can see that you can imagine that the wellbore is present at this 0 point. Here it is wellbore, and here it is whole year reservoir. The last point here 3000 feet away from the wellbore, and this is the profile of your pressure across whole reservoir, and that will vary as we change the value of permeability. As I have increased the value to 993, you can see that the pressure at wellbore is nearby very equal to the pressure P external. Like P external was 4000, it is about 3500 3200 psi. So less pressure drop has occurred inside the reservoir. So yeah, you can also revise your concept by plotting these type of graph. As when you visualize these things, visualize the and up till now you have only read the concept that yes, when we will increase when the reservoir permeability will increase, the pressure drop will decrease. But by using Pythons and all these data analytics tool, you can also visualize those things. Now, like I will increase the viscosity. So by increasing viscosity, I know that my pressure will decrease. Pressure difference will increase. So you can see that my pressure started decreasing as I increase the viscosity of the oil. In a similar way, I can also see the effect of change of flow rate on the pressure profile in my reservoir. Here, like if I increase the flow rate, again the pressure difference will increase and this PWF value will decrease. So it is visible from here. So you can play on from these graphs and visualize the things. Yeah. Yeah. Any doubt in this part? Yeah, I think you got your answer. The last who was the. You can in Vogel IPR also you can make that pressure the reservoir pressure thing dynamic, just like this permeability, and can change the pressure and see the different type of output of Vogel. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So now we will move on the other project. I made this project in my beginning days of learning Python. Material balance, simple gas material balance. We will start with the simple gas material balance. You are seeing here the values of values like values for time, reservoir pressure, Z, GP. These are all taken from Tariq Ahmed only. This is just you can find these values in Tariq Ahmed the examples, and try to implement the Python learning on those examples. So you can solve those problems by using Python. So here, yeah, then you can also visualize these, that in field also we get the values of time reservoir pressures, and that are used for doing the history matching and getting us a good reservoir simulation model that will predict for our future. But yeah, here you can see that number of points are less, only 5 points are taken. So yeah, it's a type of mini project only. So I have a value of time, reservoir pressure, Z, gas compressibility factor, and GP, gas produced, in a MMM SCF. And I've made a data frame data frame of these values of time and the reservoir pressure and all. Now, why I made this data frame, that I will use this data frame for doing my further calculations at each point. Like I just had the value till GP only. But in the next step, I have calculated the value of P by Z by using the values at each cell of P and Z and correspond to them. Here you can see. So now here for this problem, we will use the P by Z straight line equation of gas material balance, as you guys should be familiar with that P by Z equation of gas material balance. It is a straight line equation between P by Z, that is our reservoir pressure and gas compressibility factor, and GP, total amount of gas produced. So basically, there is a straight line there in between them. As the value of our pressure P by Z increase, the value of our gas production will decrease. Or you can say, as the more and more gas you produce, the reservoir pressure will decline. Okay. So in the next part, as I said, I will use the equation for P by Z and Z in a straight line. So I have initialized the X and Y values. X values as the GP value, cumulative gas produced value, and Y value as P by Z. Okay, after that, I have made a plot. I have made a scatter plot of these value to see if actually they will make a straight line or not. Yeah, scatter plot is used by using PLT dot scatter. In the above example, you have seen the line plots only. There I have used PLT dot plot. For constructing a scatter plot, you have to use PLT dot scatter. So yeah, you can see here that a scatter plot has been plotted between P by Z and GP. So yeah, I get a rough idea that yes, this will result me in a straight line. So I just need to get a best fitted lines between these 5 points. So okay, basically I will make a line of y equal to mx plus c. This simple line equation we have studied in 7th standard. And in the y axis I will put P by Z, and x is my GP. From that thing, I will get the value of my slope and intercept. I will get the value of my slope and intercept, and by using those values of slope and intercept, I will calculate my initial gas in place, basically. So for fitting, for getting information about the best fitted line across many points, a simple thing, np dot polyfit, as you can imagine, as you can see that np dot polyfit, np is coming, so it must be a numpy's function. A simple np dot polyfit is used, polyfit function of numpy is used. So I have written, I have named a thing, I have named this my fitted model as model, and I have used np dot polyfit. I have entered the values of x and y, my cumulative gas produced and pressure by compressibility factor term, and given 1. Now here this 1 is the degree we want, degree of curve we want to fit. Like if I wanted to fit a parabola, so I must have given here equation 2 second degree, but I want a straight line, so I have given the input as 1. 1 will give me a straight line, 2 will give me a curve parabola, and 3 and so on. Basically y equal to mx, x has the power of 1, so 1 is fitted here. If we have some equation that in which we are facing like y equal to 4x square Just like that, in that thing we have given the input of 2 for x cube, and something like that we have given input of 3. But here I know from my petroleum domain that the dependency of p by z and gp will be of first degree only, so I use the first degree fitting. So yeah, after that, when I print the model, when I want the output of model, it will give me an array containing two things. The first will be my slope, this m. First will be my slope of the straight line that is best fitted in these points, and the second thing will be the value of my intersect. Intercept, not intersect. Intercept that will be of the line that is will be best fitted between these points. So after that, after this point, here you can see that what is the significance of our intercept. Here you can see that hello. Yeah. So yeah, intercept. Here you can see what is the significance of the intercept of this straight line. So when intercept will be the value of p by z when gp is 0. When gp is 0, intercept will be the value of my p by z point. So in a way, I have got my starting point for p by z. I've got my starting point, that at what point I should start my straight line from the y-axis. So I have got that starting point. So I have made a numpy array of p by z starting from my 2070, that is given by the straight line equation, and going up to 0 with each step size of -1, as I am decreasing the values. That's why I've used -1. And after defining this array, I have used this straight line equation for getting the values of GP. As you can say, just used PZZ I have defined as an array, and here I want to get another array of GP. So I just put it this you I have taken this C at this side and divided by M. From that I got the other array for GP, gas produced, using this straight line equation. After that, I've made a data frame for both of these GP values and P by Z values. Now I have to calculate my initial gas in place. So how the initial gas in place will be calculated? Initial gas in place, as you can see here, initial gas in place will be equal to the gas produced until the point when my reservoir pressure has reached 0. So when the reservoir pressure will reach 0, this term P by Z will be equal to 0, and then I take this C side here and divide that by M. So I will get the value of the cumulative gas produced till the point my reservoir pressure has declined to 0, and that should be equal to our total initial gas in place. As we have produced all the gas from the reservoir, the pressure has reduced to 0, so that value will give me the value of my initial gas in place. So I just calculated by using the value of the intercept and the slope, dividing the intercept by slope. From that I got the value of my initial gas in place, 13.96 mmm SCF. After that, after this the final part of this project will be the plotting the area and showing the things. So again, this I don't want to bore you by this going through this already mentioned things. Just plotting different, like here I am just plotting the values up to a point 600 up to where we have production data available. After that, by using the straight line, I have plotted that thing, and also plotted plotted the initial gas in value and all this customized thing. And also I have here you can see a new line of code, plt.axvspan. So what this will do, it will color my background of the plot. Like here you can see I have used this axvspan for coloring the background different until a point that I have production data available. So you can also use this for customizing your matplotlibs plots of matplotlibs. And after that, as I run this code, I will get a proper gas material balance straight line curve of P by Z versus GP. And here this is the value of our initial gas in place. These are the production data that are available, production history, and this is the straight line that we have fitted. Okay. So any question in this? Okay. So now we will move to our next part, that is volumetric undersaturated material balance. So now until now we have seen the gas material balance in P by Z straight line equation. Now we will solve solve a problem related to undersaturated material balance. Undersaturated, it is saying that so our reservoir pressure will be greater than bubble point pressure. And for solving and getting the initial oil in place, here we will use the Havelena and Ode straight line equation. As you must have studied about that, that is nothing but a simple straight line equation. We made the normal material balance into a straight line equation by taking all the production term and naming them F, and the initial oil in place will be our N only, and all the expansion terms as E naught and EG. So in this, we just try to show that the production in this Havelena and Ode straight line equation, we just try to show that the production from our reservoir is nothing but the effect of compressibility. As the pressure will reduce with the production, so our compressed oil or gas will expand. So the produced liquids will be equal to the expansion that has been resulted due to the pressure reduction of that production. Okay. So here, yeah, here first point is the taking input from the user, like it is asking me for input of initial water saturation, let us say 0.24, compressibility of water 0.0 362, formation 0. Again penta 0 49, and bubble point pressure, let us say 1500 psi. Okay. After that, again these values of reservoir pressure, producing wells, and BO, NP, WP, these are all taken from textbook only, LPDEC. So after that, I made a data frame for this reservoir pressure and all the values that are available from the textbook. And now from this data frame, as now we have a value for reservoir pressure, BO, NP, and WP. From these values, we will calculate calculate the parts that are used in our Havelena and Ode straight line equation. Like the first value calculation of EFW. EFW is the term that is responsible for the expansion of initial water and reduction in pore volume, or you can say the effect of formation compressibility and the water compressibility. So here you can see that I have made a new column by EFW in this data frame and use the formula. Basically, this is a simple formula for EFW. You have read that in Tariq Ahmed or LPDEC textbooks. I have applied that. And 3685, I have taken the initial pressure here, as the compressibility term will be multiplied with the delta P term for getting volume. So yeah, from here I have made. Okay, I think I didn't run the upper part. Yeah. So from here I have made a new column of EFW. We will see that later when we come below to the code. That has been calculated by using the water and pore volume compressibility factors. And next term will be our expansion of oil and its dissolved gas. So it is also calculated by just BO minus BO initial. Its formula is BO minus BO initial. BO initial value has been taken from here. So I've calculated that thing also. And after that, I have made these both expansion terms in one term only, EO plus EFW, just by adding the values at each row. And at final, here I applied the Avellino and Ode straight line equation for and calculated the value of F, that is our production value, total liquid production values. In that I have added these expansion terms, and the cumulative water produced term, and it will give me the value of F. Now at next point. At next point, I have written the x. My x will be equal to EO plus EFW, and my y will be equal to F, as the straight line will be in between F and EO plus EFW, and the slope of that straight line will give me the value of my initial oil in place. This is Helena and Ode straight line equation, F equal to N EO plus EFW. So the straight line between F and EO plus EFW will give me the value of my initial oil in place. So again, I have used the polyfit method that we have done, that we have used earlier in gas material balance, for fitting the values of x and y and getting the slope and intercept values from there, getting this slope and intercept values for the best fitted line. Now this slope value, this will be our initial oil in place, 2.8 into 10 raised to power 5 mstb. So we got our value of initial oil in place. After that, I have just made another column in my data frame for the fitted value of F. I have made this so that we can show a straight line later in our final plot. So we can show a straight line in our final plots. That's why I have made this new column here. And again, we will do the plotting part here. We have plotted the scatter plot of the initial values production data that were present, that we have taken from the book. And after that, FMBL fit, this fitted line values for F that we have calculated here by this formula, and applying the limits on x-axis and y-axis, and x labels the expansion term EO and EFW. Y label will be our underground withdrawal, total underground withdrawal of our fluids F, and title material balance. All these things you can do. And after that, here you can see that I have printed the oil initially in place is model 0. So this model 0 will be this thing, will be this element. The model will give us output of array, and the first point of the array will give us slope, and that slope will be equal to our initial oil in place. So I have printed the output that the oil initially in place is model 0 has to be given by slope of straight line. So yeah, here you can see our straight line graph and the output of this code with the initial oil in place. So yes, and this was for material balance for volumetric undersaturated oil reservoir. You can also make a model for gas cap material balance. In that, there will be two variables whose values are not will not be available. Generally in field, the initial oil in place value and the initial gas cap value, initial gas cap ratio value, denoted by M in our Helena and Ode straight line equation, are not known. So you can also make a program for that by using your Python knowledge and these things. And reservoir, any reservoir book, either LPDEC or Tariq Ahmed, whatever you like. I made one of the program. I will show you, but we will not be able to discuss the code like this. You can also make something like this by using these steps given in the Tariq Ahmed. Like here in this problem, the initial the values of M and N. M is our initial gas oil ratio, or you can say gas cap. It will tell us about the size of gas cap, and N is our initial oil in place. So both these values were not known. So we just shifted the parts of our main equation, that was F equal to N into E naught plus MEG in just a way, so that we will be able to calculate the values of both M and N from a single part. Like here, this is a plot between F by E naught and EG by E naught. And the intercept, this intercept value will give us the value of N, initial oil in place, and the slope value of this line will give us the value of M. So yeah, this will be a good exercise for you to do. Try it. Yeah, and for today, that's all from my side. Any questions till now? Or from any days, or for anything related to life? You can ask me. We have not discussed anything about machine learning, as the only the introduction to machine learning requires 10 to 15 days. So I didn't want to introduce you all guys with the thing that should not be completed. Yeah, machine learning is just like this fitting we have done here in line. Like we have some data available, and from that data, our machine's algorithm will learn the pattern between those data, and by those patterns, we can use our algorithm for predicting the values at the point where we don't have the data available. Machine learning is like that, and different methods are used in these algorithms for getting the pattern of the data, like linear regression, logistic regression. All these are just algorithms that are used. Yeah. Okay, so nobody has
do we have any further?
Sorry.
I'm asking the students, like, do we have any further questions? Anybody can ask any question.
Any question, don't not only related to Python and all these things. You can ask me anything. Yeah.
Anybody?
I think nobody is interested in any chit chat.
Okay, so now that we don't have any question, we'll have to end the meeting. So thank you everyone for your patience. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Jayesh Chahar for sharing your knowledge with us despite your busy schedule. It was indeed a splendid workshop. We hope you liked the experience and hope for you to join us in other such events as well. And the link for the online quiz will now be displayed in the chat box. So this workshop is officially ended now. So everyone can now leave the meeting. Best wishes to you all. And thank you so much, sir, again.
Yeah, thank you everyone for giving me your precious time. I hope you all will do best in your future. Yeah, and all the best for your future.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Okay.